Good morning. I would just make myself familiar with the presentation. Okay, it works perfectly. Yeah, welcome this morning. My name is Robert Brodhage. I'm part of the international sales team at Hilscher in Germany, Hattersheim, and we are collaborating very closely with Telerex in your country. So we decided to make this small webinar here. Actually, today I have to maybe make you aware I'm filling in for a colleague of mine, Oliver Heidel, who's responsible for Telerex in your country, and therefore please excuse if I'm making small mistakes or something in the presentation. I will do my very best to fill in for him. The topic today is Open Industry 4.0 Alliance, and I want to introduce this alliance of different companies to you and how we are trying to combining strengths to champion the industrial digitization. Oh, I'm sorry, my moderator screen is pretty small. I have to look down on my notes to see what I'm showing to you. So we will actually talk about the belief of the Open Industry Alliance 4.0. I will then talk about how the Open Industry Alliance is working, what we do and how we do it. I will show a little bit of the methodology and the benefits for the customers and for the members of the Open Industry Alliance. And at the end, of course, I will show you what is the delivery that this alliance will bring to you. This picture looks a little bit crazy, but most of you might know. Oh, thank you, Ellen. Most of you will understand it. So it shows you a random shop floor in the middle of the picture, and the operator operating that shop floor. And you will see that there's lots of different products from lots of different vendors. We have IT and software companies. We have IoT platforms, we have control system sensor manufacturers, actor manufacturers, and of course MES systems controlling everything. The orange lines in that picture will give you the connections and the interfaces between all of these components, and you will see it's terribly hard to manage that and to find a unified approach to gain all relevant data for your Industry 4.0 issues in the operator, in the plant, in the factory. These synchronization problems and these many interfaces were the basic idea or were the basic challenge before creating the Industry 4.0 Alliance to make everything a bit more simple. We will look in this now a bit more into detail. This picture gives you an idea of another shop floor with some multiple production cells, with some multiple PLCs, with actors and sensors, and you see the black files in this case for all the communication from your shop floor into the cloud. So that's the simple way of understanding an Industry 4.0 approach. Not only do we have different manufacturers and different production cells here and different PLC types and different vendors, we also have different clouds. So what happened over the last years is that many different cloud technologies arise from different vendors, from different manufacturers. So we have MindSphere, we have a Bosch, we have a KUKA IIoT solution. And all of these IIoT solutions have a good approach for gaining data and for making the customer and the operator of the facility more aware of their data and more aware of their processes. But if you imagine running a plant like this with so many different vendors and so many different IIoT clouds, then this will be terrible to interconnect. And so you're missing the unified approach in this. You can, of course, have the inter-cloud communication, so you have a cloud-to-cloud communication to exchange data and to have everything available in one platform. But of course, this is a very complex way of data sharing, and this will face even more problems to unify everything and to get control over all your data and to aggregate all the data in one place. So the idea of the Industry 4.0 Alliance is to unify this and to find a unified methodology and to have a data model available to get all your IoT data into one cloud. So now you see it changed a little bit. We have there two additional layers introduced. We have layer 1. I cannot point actually on the presentation. I'm sorry for that. So you will see there's a bar saying Operator Open Industry 4.0 Alliance Edge, and another longer bar on top that says Open Industry 4.0 Alliance Cloud. This is referred as the number 2, and the number 1 is the Alliance Edge. These are 2 additional layers that are introduced that will aggregate your data, that will collect your data, and that will transform your data into a unified data model. So the idea here is that you will collect all the data from your sensors, from your robots, from your control system, from all these different points in your shop floor, and then turn them into the Industry 4.0 conform data model, data format, which is actually a MQTT layer with a JSON compatible data format, let's put it this way. And this will be used to communicate all your important information into the Open Industry Alliance Cloud. Let's keep it like this for now. We will go into this a little bit deeper in a later slide, how it really works. And from this point, from this layer, from this Alliance Cloud layer, you can distribute your data to all the manufacturer clouds, or to go, for example, in a Microsoft Cloud and SAP Cloud, and collect and aggregate all your data in one place. And this will be easily doable because of the unified data model. So all of this data will come in the same language and will be understandable to all the members that host the cloud. You see in the very middle, there's a new box on top that says Open Industry 4.0 Alliance Central Cloud. Central, strange word, but that's like the, let's say, the library of the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance that gives you all the machine data, all the, can I say that? All the information about all sensors, all actors, all component that any of the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance member companies produce. So you will have access to all of that, and therefore with this unified MQTT handling mechanism and data model, you are able to understand all of your products and exchange those products against each other. As I said, I will come back to this mechanism a little later in a bit more detail, hopefully. So this was the first quick introduction. I hope you could follow what I was trying to explain to you. The major belief I wanted to show, I wanted to point out, is that the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance has a holistic approach in Industry 4.0 solutions. So the idea is to create customer value. Customer value is actually the one thing that is the top importance for the Industry 4.0 Alliance, and this should be created, well, I just read the sentence for you, through holistic interoperable Industry 4.0 solution and service in a common framework powered by the alliance of leading industry partners to drive the digitization of factories, plants, and warehouses of the customers. In pictures, what the alliance does is it ensures a collaboration not only between the member vendors, but also between the vendors and the operators. Therefore, we deliver the customer value, and we realize that by creating an ecosystem of all the major automation companies in the business, and we generate the MQTT data model that I talked of, that's to speak the same language. Different picture, it's again about the belief of the Industry 4.0 Alliance, and it shows the benefit for the members and for the customers. Customers I will also refer to as the operators of the plants and the factories. So, of course, the members are interested in a competitive advantage. We're, of course, interested in the focus in each of our core competency, and therefore we hope to realize more sales. Customers, on the other hand, get the added value. They get a compatibility promise that you will have a low risk, you will have an interoperability for your components. You can exchange sensors from different companies. If they are OE40 compliant, they will nearly plug and play work. So you're future-proof, you have safe investments, and you're scalable. Yeah, the implementation and the relevance for existing standards is also a point that should be mentioned. So the semantics and the data model is unified. Therefore, you have a technical and a safety support and standards. And I think the major point to point out here for the customers is the exchangeability of components. Every Open Industry 4.0 ready component is exchangeable against each other. And therefore you have the, what is in the middle, what is for members and customers, the same benefit is the scalability and the interoperability. So next point on the agenda, that's how it's working. Let's have a look at that. So you see here 4 different columns, and what is mentioned at Industry 4.0 platform, that's, let's say, the basis for the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance and the idea. So that's RAMI 4.0 and other related standards that are existing and that were existing before the Open Industry 4.0. So you have open standardized processes, you have global communication to drive the acceptance, and what should it reach? It should reach the prevention of vendor lock-in by standardization. Vendor lock-in is actually also what we're trying to reach, but yeah, you will see that. The Open Industry 4.0 Alliance then blueprinted the architecture for an IT and OT convergence to reduce the system engineering efforts and to have scaling effects. Well, that's more or less the phase we are in right now. So predefining use cases and predefining business processes for the implementation. Also, this is something to prevent the vendor lock-in by execution this time. The member of the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance, that's like the supporting business process. They will offer an ecosystem for the business process implementation, and the approach is actually brownfield oriented or brownfield focused, so to be able to reach all of the existing plants and factories. This will result in significantly reduced integration efforts and a flexible scaling and adaptation. For the customer at the end, on the operational side of the business process, they will have the tool to find to gain their business process management integration and the continuous improvement of the operational processes, which I talked about before, the customer value. Oh yeah, this is classified in 2 stages. So we have the conceptualization and the commercialization, and we are, as I said before, somehow in between at the moment. So the standard is not 100% ready, but already some use cases available, already some demo cases available. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about methodology and the benefits. That's again the same 4 columns, and that's again talking about RAMI, Open Industry, and the process house, then the members and the customers. Unfortunately, I will put all of this out for you. You can read through it because it's more or less the same issues that we had before. Some additional points came up and some additional benefits are here. So, for example, that you have on the Open Industry 4.0 framework, you have the integration of the convergent IT/OT solutions, and you have a vertical integration already built in. Also for the customers, this is something that is already enabled for the existing business process landscape. So I also told this before, this is a brownfield focused approach actually. Yeah, what is the delivery? So, I mean, I'm talking now about Open Industry 4.0 Alliance, and I hope you get a little idea of what this alliance does and what it is. And I now want to show you what we deliver, because actually the alliance itself does not sell anything. So the alliance just defines things and just gives you a framework and an environment for its members. So the members will be the companies selling products and selling solutions, but the Open Industry Alliance will enable the members to do so. So again, the same 4 columns, but with a little different focus. So we are more focusing on the execution and the application of the idea in the field here. The Industry 4.0 platform, yeah, well, it started with RAMI 4.0, giving an asset administration shell, defining open standards, realizing terms and definitions to give the first idea of what Industry 4.0 platform should look like. Inside the Open Industry Alliance, this then was implemented into a complete framework architecture. So module specification, interface specification, use case matrix is built up, the use case description is built up, and the meta modeling for the use cases, of course, is defined and created. In execution phase, then the member companies will go forward and make the use case implementation at the operator's side, or will do their own use case implementation and for their own products. They will create ecosystems. We will have a product landscape available with Open Industry 4.0 compliant products and the project execution, of course. What does it mean for the customers? After execution phase, we go into improvement phase, and the customers have the capability of changing their business process landscape. They looking at the core processes, supporting the processes, and of course, improving them. Okay, this picture is quite similar to the one I showed you more or less in the beginning, where I was trying to explain the 2 additional layers that the Open Industry Alliance introduced to make the communication in the shop floor easier. Here it's not 2 layers, it's actually 4 layers to split it up a little more and to be a bit more precise about what is happening. At the very, very bottom, you see the physical things. So that's your sensors, actors, that's PLCs, robots, that's everything, all the hardware. On top of that, we call it Open Edge connectivity. That's all the bus protocols, the real-time Ethernet protocols, the IoT protocols that you have, all this communication layer, which gives you the connectivity. From this layer, we go into the Open Edge computing. The Open Edge computing is the first step where the Open Industry Alliance defines its data model and where you can start to aggregate and analyze and filter data. So that's something that will happen on site or on the shop floor. That could be a gateway that could be integrated into your hardware actually also. And you will be able to use Open Industry Alliance member applications. You will be able to use Open Industry 4.0 services and to get all of the solutions that the members of the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance give you. You can use all of that in there already. And this, after this transformation to this unified communication or data model, your data can go up into the Operator Cloud platform. The Operator Cloud platform is outside of your shop floor. That's then more into the IT world. That would be maybe your local cloud. That could be an on-premise solution. That could be a real cloud solution, actually, where you send your data, and from there you can do, again, data aggregation, analysis. You can do filtering, and from this point, this was the second layer in my very early slide, you will distribute the data and all of this IoT information into any other cloud that you like to use. So if you have an Azure cloud, if you have an SAP cloud or whatever, you can go from this point up and have from all of your shop floors, from all of your premises, everything in one direction, in one cloud and available. This is actually the scope of the alliance. You see on the right side, the scope of the alliance is marked. So meaning the alliance itself does not define any hardware, and it does not define any top cloud that will sit above this, that you use to analyze your data. It's only defining the standards and the models, the data models and the communication models to have unified communication throughout your multi-vendor shop floors. This is more or less the same, but with two additional layers. So you will see from black to darker green the steps from hardware, from shop floor up to a cross-enterprise cloud. So it shows you a couple of things you can do and you can track and you can manipulate or improve in every step. So on the asset level, the really basic hardware level, you have an automatic onboarding. As I said, the goal is also to have Open Industry Alliance compliant hardware that is nearly plug and play onboardable. You have then on top of that, for example, the condition monitoring, the predictive maintenance, the classic points of IIoT and Industry 4.0. You can go up further, and then you have the product quality analysis. You can simulate, you can have plant analytics, you can go up to level 6 and have asset connectivity in a cross-enterprise environment. Okay, I think we talked about all of that before. This is more like just highlighting the 4 things where Industry 4.0 is helping you and where the Open Industry Alliance is helping you. So that's transparency in the shop floor activities, that's performance improvement, that's also the productivity increase, and of course the quality improvement, the quality tracking and control. So all of that is the more of the benefit and customer value that the Open Industry Alliance is focusing on, and the final goal of the Open Industry Alliance. At the end, well, I told you that Open Industry Alliance is a big foundation of many companies. So I want to talk really quickly about who is the Open Industry Alliance. This slide is I suppose a bit out of date. I think it's 53 or 54 companies right now. This shows only 51. But what did not change is the founding members. So the founding members of the alliance, that's Anderson Hauser, KUKA, Voigt, SAP, Multivac, EFM, Beckhoff, and of course Hilscher. And Hilscher is actually, to my knowledge, the only communication provider in the Open Industry Alliance, and therefore responsible for the communication, the standardization, and the data model. And together with other committed members, as you see, we have ZIG, we have Baluf, Vago, Moore, so all the big players, but we also have the small companies, the mid-sized companies. And having an alliance of this size and this structure, not only of like 3 or 4 major companies, but inviting also the mid-size and the small-size company, gives the customer at the end the most value, because you find solution not only for your big machines, you find solutions for every single sensor, you find solutions for all your components in the shop floor, and you will be able to monitor and to use and monetize the information from those components in one unified experience and in one cloud. Okay, I think this is my last slide for today. It's just a little bit about the structure of the Open Industry Alliance. It shows you on top the operators, which are the customers, the operators of the plants and the factories. We want to put those in the middle. Operators and customers are the the center of this idea. And the other 6 different segments you can see there are system integrators and service providers who can be members just to help us roll out the idea. You will have connectivity providers and technology providers such as Hilscher, who actively contribute in the generation of the idea and of the standards that the Open Industry Alliance is defining. On the right side, you have application providers, machine and component manufacturers. I think that's clear what it means, and it gives you an idea of all the different segments where the Open Industry Alliance is working in. Well, I think this was my last slide. There's just like my information and Bart's information on the last side if you want to get in contact with me or with Telerex. And Quincy told me he was moderating actually the chat. I'm not sure if you've been active, but he sent me maybe some questions. I will read through them right now and answer them hopefully in a good way. The first question, yes, the first question is correct. I will read the question for you. The Open Industry 4.0 Alliance Cloud Central Cloud is a public repository of device message description. That's correct, of course. It's also called the repository in the white papers and the technical papers of the Open Industry Alliance. So there's nothing to be stored by the users of that technology. So the members and the production, the machine producers, they will store their data like in that repository, so you can use it, and you need that data actually to understand the way that device is communicating. So that the information is in there. So, okay, who needs to be a member of the Alliance? That was another question. The system integrators, not necessarily. So, of course, system integrators that are not members of this can benefit from it. So they can purchase products from member companies, like valves, they can actuators, drives, temperature sensors, whatever, and apply them in any factory and make use of that experience that the Open Industry Alliance is trying to produce. So, but of course, it would make sense if you were a supplier or a hardware manufacturer that you join the Alliance. If you are not an active member, meaning that you just want to benefit from using that repository I was talking earlier about and putting your data of your products in there, and you're not an active member, then it's actually a pretty good deal, let's put it this way, to join the Alliance. You will find all that information also on openindustry4.0.com. It's all in there. So, another question. I'm not sure. It says, does IO4 Alliance only focus on data of components, or does it also look at machine-produced logical data? I'm not sure if I understand that correctly. So, the data model can actually aggregate all data. So it can aggregate cyclic and acyclic data. It can generate health data. It can generate or aggregate the production data. I'm not sure if that helps you, but you can actually define which kind of data you will pull out of your machines and use in OE 4.0. The last question is if the Alliance also focuses or specifies standards for machine-to-machine communication. Please forgive, I'm not completely familiar with this topic. As far as I know, that's not the focus of the Alliance, so it's not machine-to-machine communication. I think that's it for now. I cannot see any other question, but I can switch to the public chat. Okay, so guys, if you have questions afterwards or anything else, please, always contact me, and my contact information is in the slides. I think you will get the slides, they should be public. And write me an email. I will happily distribute information, send you the white papers, or give you contact information to people here in the company or in the alliance that have deep knowledge in the topics you're interested in. And thank you for listening.